Okay, hello everybody. Today we are going to review the movie The Kissing Booth. So I don't. It's kind of hard to describe this movie exactly, but it felt like it was trying to be a whole bunch of older romantic comedies all kind of mixed into one, and some of it worked and some of it didn't, and some of it felt like it was cut very poorly on the back half of the film. The first half of the film, I was actually really enjoying it for, I guess, just a Netflix film. And it's about these. Well, I guess they're graduating high school, so I guess they're in their last year of high school, and they're talking about starting. Well, at least one of them is going off to college. So it's about these two kids, Shelley and Lee, Shelley Evans and Lee Flynn, who grew up together. I guess they they share a lot of stuff. The same birthday, I think, and pretty much everything. They share pretty much everything because they've grown up. They've been best friends for years now, right from the time they were 6 till I guess now the time they'd be 18 if they're in their last year of high school. So Shelley has had a crush on Lee's brother Noah for, God, I don't know, quite some time now. Oh, my nose. Why does my nose wait to do this till? Okay, I think we're good. Anyway, she's had a crush on Lee's brother Noah for quite some time. So they're kind of like subtly hint at it that she's into Noah, obviously, and I don't know, it felt weird because it felt like Lee was into Shelley, and that's why they have this weird set of rules that siblings are off limits. Obviously, Shelley's Shelley's only sibling is a brother, and he's way younger than her, so that doesn't even make any sense. But I guess seeing as Noah is the older brother, it makes sense to leave him off limits so that if anything happened between them badly, I guess it wouldn't put a rift between Lee and Shelley, which I guess makes sense in a way. But as the movie goes on, we kind of find out that, or it kind of hints at the fact that Noah might have a thing for Shelley. He seems very protective of her. He just kind of has that demeanor anyway, because he's very protective over his little brother too. So I suppose it doesn't seem too odd, but then they're trying to figure out some sort of thing to set up for this fundraiser event, I think, or carnival event, I do believe. So Shelley and Lee decide to set up a kissing booth, and they're trying to get certain people to do it. They are able to talk these three girls that Shelley calls the "Oh my God" girls, which kind of seemed like similar to the Plastics in Mean Girls, right? My God, train of thought. Kind of seems similar to the Plastics in Mean Girls. So she gets them to do it, and who was the other person? I don't know, some other random from their school that was doing it. And then at one point, she says Flynn is going to be there. So everybody thinks, of course, it's going to be Noah. So all these girls are lining up to kiss Noah, and then it ends up being Lee. So all these girls start to leave except for one, and that ends up being Lee's girlfriend throughout the rest of the movie. Now, I'm not sure if she was ever, this girl that decides to stay and kiss him was ever seen earlier on in the movie or what, because he seemed like shocked that this girl was coming up to him to kiss him, so I'm not really sure. But anyway, that ends up being his girlfriend for the rest of the movie. And Shelley so he leaves to go and do stuff throughout the carnival with her, and then Shelley gets kind of conned into doing the kissing booth thing because this like really nerdy looking dude it's just some of the comedy in this was just really weird, just picking his nose in the line, and the oh my god girl that's up there goes, I can't do this, so they switch out, and then the nerdy kid lets Noah go ahead of him. So Noah ends up actually kissing Shelley, and it's a pretty passionate kiss for what it was, yeah. Now, obviously, some of it might have been a little dramatized or in Shelley's head, I'm not really sure, but he said it's no big deal, it was just a kiss. And then he kind of slowly starts to... I mean, we already kind of figured at that point, after he kissed her, that he did it on purpose because he knew who it was. She's blindfolded, right? So she's not going to know. But she goes, oh, wait. And then she goes, oh my god, how am I going to tell Lee that I kissed his brother? So she goes up and just tells him. And he doesn't seem too concerned about it, but he kind of has a weird demeanor about it. He just says, don't, I'm not exactly sure how he worded it, but basically, don't sleep with my brother or never talk to you again. So her and obviously Shelley and Noah start seeing each other more, and eventually they do end up sleeping together. They are trying to hide it from Lee because she thinks that it'll hurt him if he hears it from somebody else, so she's going to tell him. She keeps hiding it from him, and then eventually he sees them kiss. So they get into this little scuffle between the two of them. See, this is where the movie takes a weird turn, because up until that point, it was basically like a comedy movie for the most part. And then as soon as Lee sees them kiss, it just turned snap into like a drama. It was like, what is happening right now? So it felt like it was like one movie, and then all of a sudden it was just like, boom. The whole movie was just turned upside down. I don't think there was much swearing before that either, and it just seemed like it went from like comedy to just drama all of a sudden. And then everybody kind of separates for a little while, and then it turns back into a comedy again. And then when Noah comes back into the picture, it turns back into a drama again. And then finally, Shelley just says to Lee, like, you can't make, like, we made those rules when we were 6, like, it no longer applies anymore. And Lee finally just says, well, I just want to see you happy, even though I think you're making a mistake with my brother. So they end up getting back together again, and they spend the time together until he goes off to Harvard. And I'm talking about Noah now, until Noah goes off to Harvard. So yeah, it was just a really weird ending. They leave each other at the airport, and then at the end of the movie, she narrates it like she doesn't even know if she's going to stay with him or not anyway. So I'm like, what was the point in putting all those people through that then, if you're not even sure if it's going to work out? Like, it just seemed really weird. The whole like back and forth banter with herself and everybody else at the very end of the movie. It was almost like they were just trying to kind of grasp at straws near the end of it to just kind of put something together to end the film off. I mean, both of these parts worked, but it was almost like the movie should have been like a part 1 and a part 2. Like they could have been like an hour and a half films each almost. That's kind of my feeling on it. But I mean, maybe they just didn't have enough to go off of for 2 movies, so they just kind of made it what it was, I guess, because I think the movie was about an hour and 50 minutes long, so they probably could have made 2 movies out of this, to be honest, if they had to just put like 20 more minutes into the first part of the movie. But that's just me, because then it made a little bit more sense, but it just seemed like such a big switch. So I gave this movie, I rated this movie a 5 out of 10, just because I felt like that was a real downfall to it, was, yeah, just a big switch, and, like, all the characters were developed, and then all of a sudden it was just kind of like, boom. They just completely changed people, and everything's just kind of turned to absolute shit, and it was just, like, a really weird angle to take. Because I don't think that Lee would have really overreacted quite as much as he did, and he really like laid into Noah quite a bit about just treating her like another number, and not in those exact words, but Actually, worse words than that, I would say. Yeah. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for this movie. That's what I have to give it, just because it seemed like such a random change, and it was just kind of flippy floppy through the back half of the movie. But I mean, the whole story was good. The story, I guess, makes sense as far as like, I don't know what they were going for, like a comedy drama movie. If that's what they were going for, then they nailed it. But it seems like they were kind of going for just like the teeny bopper romance movie, and they just kind of threw in a bunch of drama at the end. So it was really confusing as to what angle the movie was going for. I still did get enjoyment out of this movie, especially in the first half of the movie, I would say. And then even the story, like the love interests made sense. They just fit. But some of it was just a little oddly cut, I would say. But other than that, I would say definitely go check this out. It is a trilogy, I guess, so I'm going to start watching the second one and see where that one goes, because maybe it'll kind of tie the story in a little bit better. But as always, like, share, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on this film if you have seen it. If not, it is on Netflix, so I would just say, if you have an afternoon and you're not doing anything, just watch the trilogy. Probably that's how I'm going to end up recommending this, is just to sit back and do a trifecta of films. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.